What's going on, YouTube? Oh man, had a long day. Just thought I'd come and add a few thoughts. Yeah, I've been actually shot this video earlier, but I don't know, something's wrong with the volume, so I'm gonna give this another shot. Here it goes. Want to hear it? Here it goes. Uh, First off, um, this video is pretty much about motivation. If you read the title, um, what I mean by motivation is a lot of times when you go around people, they have what they call the transference of energy. When you're around another individual, and your energy level just drops because you just see so much negativity or even positivity. So, a lot of times it's important who you rub shoulders with. I've been trying to, study how to get around and, millionaires or people that are really successful. A lot of times they say you want to see your future, look at the 5 closest friends you have. So, a lot of times if you're the best, so to speak, in that circle, if you're the most successful person within your circle, then you need a new circle. Simple and plain. If everyone's not as successful or more successful, then you just, and it's not to say that you need to be an a-hole, but you just need to get around new people. So this video, what I'm gonna do is just basically lay out a few of my ideas and things that I've done in the past, and try to explain a few ideas, because it seems to me that I agree with City of Truth 91 and Black Men Taking Back Our Communities. We do deify white supremacy to the point where it's almost like we're not, or we're afraid to be productive. First, I'm going to talk about this homeboy of mine I met. Met him at the Black Enterprise Conference, and he was a real cool brother, man. And then we started talking, and we had a lot in common. So I started asking him what he does. What he did was, he told me, he said, I went to a Bronner Brothers hair show, and I, went to these different, not conventions, but little seminars that they have. They actually talked about, he went to one about how to create your own products, right? So, excuse me, long day. So anyway, he basically learned how to, well, we first did some research and learned what it takes to, find out about how hair grows, which people around the world have the longest hair, least male pattern baldness. And so he discovered what he discovered was that if you allow yourself to go to these conventions, you can get around people, and they'll, like in Chicago, they have these group of people, they'll show you how to, they chemically make the products themselves for you. So he got the right ingredients. Once he met the right people, he told them, these are the ingredients I want. He paid them for it. They sent them a 5-gallon bucket. He then put it into these small containers, sold it on Amazon for natural hair. He did a search and found out that there were a lot of people buying these products off Amazon. So he started doing it, and he sold 20, 30 different natural hair products on well, not 20 or 30, he sold one, but he basically sold a lot of them in the first week or two, and they've been selling. So he'll move through like a 5-gallon bucket on, I don't know, about 10 days, 10, anywhere from 10 to 15 days. And he'll have to do another bucket. So each one of those ounces, it'll be either an ounce or 2 ounces, and he'll sell it for $20. So if it's, let's just say if it was 2 ounces, 64 of them per container per gallon. So 64 times 5, 320 times 20. That's basically what he's making per, so that's $6,000 per container. So it's pretty good. And this brother is doing this, and what he does is he bottles them up, puts his label on them, and then he just ships them to the warehouse for Amazon, and they ship them off. So every time they ship them off and ship them for him, he just checks his account, and it just keeps growing and growing and growing. That's what he does. So that's just the thing with the internet. This is what a lot of people don't know. If there's a lot of ways nowadays, it's really, we are without excuse nowadays. you have literally a encyclopedia. An encyclopedia is at your fingertips called a cell phone. You got Google, greatest search engine in the world, and you can go and obtain so much information nowadays with just you know a twiddle of your fingers. So there really isn't or aren't any excuses for us as black people not being able to get into business, not being able to gather information. If there's anything you want to know, you can know. If you want to know how to manufacture shoes, you want to know how clothes are made, anything, you can look this stuff up, and then you can start there. Now, what we do is, one of the excuses I always hear a lot of times is, well, we can't really. I don't have any money. I don't know how to. I don't have any equity or anything I can put down as collateral. I just don't know where to begin. Oh, phew. I've had a long day. Anyway, they'll say, well, I don't know where to begin. So the first thing I look at when I see that is, well, I'm gonna give you one example of something I haven't done it yet, but this is what I think. Like, okay, tax lien certificates and tax lien deeds, tax deeds. What you do with those is, like, for example, in my hometown of Montgomery, they've torn down a lot of properties. So the tax assessor goes out every other year and he reassesses the value of these properties, so the taxes go way down. You go in, you pay the tax deed or wherever to get the deed, and then you possess this property for the period. In certain states and municipalities, it may be 30 days. I mean, I've seen 30 days, I've seen no days, I've seen 90 days, I've seen 12 months. In Alabama, it's 36 months, right of redemption, which means the original owner can come back. But if you go in and you buy a lot, especially in an area where it's cheap, in the hood or something, you go get a lot. It may be a $6,000 or $7,000 lot. You get it for $300-$400. You just pushed up your net worth $6,000-$7,000 just like that. So what you do is you go out and you buy 10 of those. You buy 1 or 2 a month. I know you may be like, well, this is not worth anything. It's not in a good location. It has value because it's land, and it can be used as equity. I actually faked one time, and you do this while you're listening. Tomorrow, call a mortgage company, call a mortgage brokerage firm, and just say, hey, I bought some houses a few years ago, and then I just got the deed, and I just did the quiet title, which is basically where you run it in the newspaper. You make sure that and in Montgomery we got 2 newspapers, the Montgomery Independent and the Montgomery Advertiser. I always, if I was going to do it, I would run it through the Montgomery Independent, because a lot of people don't check that paper, and that basically lets everybody know, okay, on this date, this person will be doing quiet title for this particular property, lot number, plat number, whatever, right? And if the original owner sees that, they come and try to stake their claim, but they will still have to pay you back the money that you spent for their property plus interest. And for some states, it's 30% interest. So it just depends. At any rate, once you do that, you call a mortgage company. Just try this tomorrow, whenever you hear this video. Call a mortgage company and say, okay, well, I have a property. I have 6 properties, lots. I want to use them for equity, and I need them. And every time I've called, I did this like 3 or 4 times. Every time I call, it's, oh yeah, we can use that as down payment. I mean, I hadn't done it in a while, but I do know that that's something that you can use. And you can talk to a lot of different lenders. The people in the commercial lending department, they use that. They will take that as down payment. I even had a guy tell me one time, you can use a car or anything of value. So after that, what you do is you go through, you buy these properties, and you just do the process like you said, and that's one way you can do it. Basically the main objective is to obtain as much wealth as possible. If you buy a bunch of these properties, on paper you're technically worth, and banks honor that. That is a way to dig your way out of the hole. Also, like I was talking about with the internet, you can if Google has search engines, and a lot of people know this, but a lot of people don't. So if you know it, just understand that other people don't. So you have a way of searching on Google to know how many times per month. It's called a keyword planner, and it'll tell you how many times per month a particular keyword or phrase is searched, right? Once you know that, like for example, if something's searched, let's say 10 million times a month, let's say someone's looking for lipstick, just hypothetically speaking, if they're looking for lipstick 10 million times per month, and you do the create, if you learn how to optimize your particular web page to where you're the first person to come up within that 10 million times per month search, then what'll happen is you'll get 30% of those clicks on average. 30 to 40% of those clicks will go to your website, which that's what they call organic traffic, right? Now, in order to get that organic traffic, you have to build what they call backlinks, and there are a lot of other little tricks. And what happened is Google has what they call spiders, and a lot of times they change from time to time. So you have to be able to change with the times, because you'll build all these backlinks and then it'll change. The best and most optimal way I see to do it is go through Fiverr. For $5, you have people that'll give you like 50 backlinks for $5, and then for $100 they may give you quality backlinks or whatever, up to date with what Google is doing at that particular time. And that's how you will rank at the top when someone searches for lipstick 10 million times a month. Once you do that and you're the first person at the top of that link, the first link at the top of Google when they search for lipstick, what'll happen then is you'll get, 3 million people coming to your website. So you get 3 million organic hits per month. And then once they come to your website, if you convert, let's say 1% of those people, we're talking about, out of 3 million, that's 30,000 orders a month for lipstick. At, let's just say you buy them for $1 and sell them for $4. That's $120,000 a month. And there are people that are making that kind of money from the internet. There's a lot of money being made through e-commerce. In fact, if you don't want to go through all the backlinks, building your site and building organic traffic, there's this course called DS Domination, which stands for Drop Ship Domination. And they train you step by step to go on Amazon, find a particular product, go to eBay, create the article, create the ad, and then when you create your ad, you have to sort of do your article, do your ad a certain way, your ad, right? And once you do that, you do your backlinks. You're still gonna have to do that, but what happens on eBay is it'll outrank other products that may be cheaper than yours. So don't get discouraged when you see someone selling something cheaper. If you optimize it to sell properly, you can outsell someone even though they're $20, $30 cheaper than you are. That's why you see people on there trying to sell stuff for the prices they do, because that's what they're doing. Not everyone is going to sell things for the cheapest price. Once you do that and you learn how to do that, then what you do is you go and you just start getting different products. Go to DS Domination. Only costs about, I think, $10 something, $10, $15 a month. They have a higher membership that's like 40, 50, but it teaches you more intricate details as to how to sell. There's a guy by the name of Otto Thompson. He's pretty good at it. I've spoken with him a few times. He's hard to get in touch with, but he does know the business pretty well. So, or just watch the videos. Now, anything you're trying to do, there's always going to be naysayers. So take those people that you see on YouTube with a grain of salt. Because you're going to see tons of people saying it doesn't work, don't do it, try this program here, it's better, or try my personal program. At the end of the day, it's just about, obtaining, the knowledge and understanding and getting the expertise and just staying consistent, really. That's what it's about, just consistency and just, seeing it through to the end. Also, there's another thing, and the reason I'm throwing these ideas out is because I don't believe in excuses. I think we give a lot of excuses as a people. I think we are beaten down so much and defeated, we just don't believe we can win. And I beg to differ. I think we can. Um, with real estate, for example, one of my favorite things I would love to do, and this is actually what I'm about to do, is a lot of times when you do what they call you get a lot, right? You get a lot in the area. Say the lot might run you $100,000 in a good area, right? I mean, a real nice area where top end rents. I mean, you people are paying $2,000 for rent. In Atlanta, that's not unheard of. A lot in that neighborhood may run you about 175 to 100,000 for that, but that lot will be a single family lot that will hold a duplex. And what you do is right now, what people aren't really paying attention to, rents have spiked up so much. And the reason that they have is because a lot of trust funds, not trust funds, hedge funds have jumped into the real estate rental game, and so it's not as lucrative as it used to be. So people are kind of, I mean, I'm sorry, it's not that it's not as lucrative. What's happened with the hedge funds is rents have shot up so high. So I've seen people that were in the hood paying like, 500, back in '06, '07. Now they're paying 7. Rents have went up $150 in the hood, literally. That's just straight profit because the equity is still there. Rent, money's cheap right now. When people say money's cheap, the interest rates are low. So even though they're inching up a little bit, it's still cheap in the grand scheme of things. If you could get, I remember when before the housing bubble burst, interest rates was 6-7%. Now people are getting 3-4%. Like they're complaining about it going up a percentage point here and there. That's not bad. And if you buy a lot in that area, like I was talking about, and it's residential, and it's zone residential, and you build a duplex loft on a single family lot, you don't have to really go and get it rezoned or anything like that. What'll happen is you'll get premium rent because loft rent is the most expensive rent in Atlanta. I've seen lofts for $3,000, $3,500, and people don't bat an eye when they ask for it, and they're getting it in Atlanta. People are paying $3,500. I wouldn't pay $3,500 for a loft. I just wouldn't. Especially this loft I saw, it was real nice, beautiful view. A couple of maybe 4 blocks away from Phillips Arena. You could walk there. It was probably it was about $3,500, about 1,000 square feet altogether. It's 800 somewhere in there. Nice size, 2-bedroom, 1 bath, brick walls all throughout. It was nice, real nice. But at the end of the day, I just thought it was overpriced. But nonetheless, people will pay it, and there are people paying those types of rents. So when you build this loft, if you build it for, let's say, the bank probably will loan you $100 per square foot to build. You can go to eplans.com and get your plans. They'll teach you, they'll show you what they're looking for, and then that's where you go get your plans from, right? And so from there, what you do is you just you build. I mean, you could probably build for, let's just say, $60 a foot, and if each side is 800 square feet, that's about $48,000 each side. So let's just say you run over and let's say 120 total to build. You're in the lot for, let's say, 100. That's 220. When you rent out a $4,400 building, basically every month, if you fully rent it out, which lofts are in high demand, so you probably, especially in a residential area, duplex offers that apartment feel, convenience of an apartment with the single family feel. They still got their front yard, and if you rent each side out for, let's just say, $2,200, which isn't unrealistic, and you do that for let's say about 12 months out the year, you're looking at $52,800. And of course, you got to divide. You got vacancy, things of that nature, maintenance, upkeep. So I'm going to chunk off a big piece of it and say 75% of that is all you're going to really get because of vacancy and upkeep. But then that's $39,000. But because it's new construction, because you took the extra mile and you went into a nice neighborhood, that capitalization rate is going to be, let's say, I don't know, 7.5%, which is a damn good capitalization rate for new construction in a very good neighborhood. That property is worth $528,000. So you just created yourself $300,000 in equity. There's also another way that they choose to price, what is it, multifamily units, because it is a multifamily unit, and it's called the 50% rule. Many of these real estate gurus on YouTube talk about it, which means you need to be able to take 50% of the rents, pay your mortgage, and pay, and pay your maintenance, upkeep, mortgage, insurance, everything, and still make a profit. And $2,200 is still enough, because on $220,000, 4%, I mean, you're not looking at a real high interest rate. So payments are kind of cheap right now, fairly cheap. So this is the time. That is why you see people building apartments right now. In where I'm at in Atlanta, I'm on the north side. Just on my street, within a 5-mile radius, they're throwing up maybe 4 or 5 apartment units. They're throwing them up fast because it's big, because that it just makes sense economically to do that. I'm just throwing out different areas. If you're broke and you're watching this video and you don't have any money, it's springtime. It's pretty much about to be February. It's about to be spring. Take $100, go buy you a walking lawnmower off of Craigslist and a $20 weed eater from Lowe's, and just go start cutting grass. The biggest thing is this: when you do a business, this is the thing. Don't live off your money. If you live off your money, you will not be successful. There's a book I read called The Richest Man in Babylon. Great book. That book, it was about this guy named Arcad, who was supposed to be the richest man in Babylon. And basically, a guy came in. Now, of course, there's a couple of other stories running along simultaneously, but one of them I remember specifically. This guy basically came and he asked the richest man in Babylon to teach him how to make money. So what he did was he taught him, and the first year he made a mistake, next year he made a mistake. But I remember the second year, the mistake he made was that he made profit, but he spent it. And he told him, you eat the children of your wealth or something. He was basically saying, when you make that money, you let that wealth go out and earn some interest, and that's the money you live off of. So how does that look in practical terms? What he was saying was, if you have a business, don't live off it. Let it grow to where it gets to a point where you're living off it. You're living off of just a small percentage. You're not living off a big percentage. Even Rich Dad Poor Dad, he said that his rich dad took a small percentage from all of his businesses. He said nobody knew about him. He went under the radar. And then one day he just made a cash offer on one of the biggest pieces of prime real estate in Hawaii. And that's when everybody knew, oh, there's a new player in town. Biggest problem I've had is that I lived off the money. When I was flipping houses, I lived off the damn profit, because that was all I did full time. If I'd have had another job, I would have kept all that money. All that money I would have been able to take, and that takes discipline. But that's the key. That's the key to wealth. That's the secret. Don't live off your money. Take the money that you make and let it roll into another avenue whereby you can make some profit. I mean, really the real reason I kicked this video out tonight is that what I'm trying to say is this: start where you are. Start small. I don't have long on this video, but just start small. Get as much as you can with what you got, and then roll that money up. I heard Steve Harvey break down how to make a lot of money. How to be a millionaire. So find something that you can do that makes $10, and do it over and over and over until you make $100, and then do it over and over and over until you make $1,000. Do it over and over again till you make $10,000, and just keep going. It sounds like a lot, but one thing I noticed by saving money or obtaining a lot of money, once you see a goal, when you make your goal growing your account, you make your goal like, I want to see my account grow above 100,000. I want to see my account grow above X amount of time. that you'll be surprised the amount of discipline. Money will come from all over. That's just the way God made the universe. It's like you'll do things and then money and opportunity will come where you're able to grow that account faster and faster and faster. The bigger it gets, the faster it'll grow. And the easier it'll become to make money because other opportunities will come your way and you can take advantage of those opportunities. You may start with a lawn service and then you may get, save up $5,000 and then somebody say, hey, you can, we can go to this auction over here and buy 3 cars at $1,500 a piece and we can make $1,500 selling them in a week since it's tax season. And voila, now you're making $1,500 a week selling cars. And so now you're doubling your money. You're moving faster, but you have to have discipline. If you eat the children of your labor, you will be stuck, and you will be doomed to repeat the same thing over and over and over. If you want to break free, it's almost like you got to cut your foot off. You got to have the discipline to tell yourself no. You got to have the discipline to say no to vacations, to trips. That's what it's gonna take. This generation. I'm Generation X. Our generation is over for us. We are so far behind the 8 ball. We can no longer afford to sit and be idle, and we can also no longer afford to just wait for others to come and just give us jobs and things of that nature. Getting a job is no longer viable for the future. Jobs come and go. I mean, Trump is in office and he's making moves. I just found out today that Delta will be hiring 25,000 new people. I mean, people despise Donald Trump though, so he may get impeached. You can't depend on that. Trump, if we get Hillary Clinton, she hates wealthy people, so we might lose jobs. I know people don't want to hear that, but that's true. So, at the end of the day, we have to make our minds up to take our own future and our own destiny in our own hands as African Americans, and we can't be so laxed and dependent on government and white data to come save us, and a lot of us are. So I just threw out a lot of little small ideas and things to get started. I listen to Dave Anderson every day on the Empowerment Radio Network. His show is called Blackonomics. It's a real good show. It comes on right after Warren Ballantyne from 1 to 4. He has one thing he calls quick hit strategies, where he talks about these are quick ways to make money. And I'm just putting this out here because I think sometimes a lot of people don't know where to go. The best thing, I'm going to tell you another thing. One of my problems, I have a lot of ideas. Sometimes it's best just to stick one. Just stick to one, and even though it hurts, stick to it. Stick to it through. Because one thing about business that I've learned, any business that you grow is going to take time and long suffering and patience, and you'll have headaches. That's just it. Any successful story. I worked part-time at an Italian restaurant called Carrabba's. But I remember the story that they told me about how it started and how the family went through ups and downs, and they almost lost their first restaurant, and they did this and they did that, and they finally got it right. It takes time. That's why most millionaires don't really break that first million until they're almost 50. Because it takes so much to break free. It's almost like you're trying to leave the Earth's gravitational pull. In order to do that, that's why when you see a rocket, it has to blow so hard and strong and all this big combustion, because you're literally trying to break the gravity of, poverty. And not just poverty, you're trying to break the gravity of mediocrity. In order to not be mediocre, you have to shut down a lot of distractions and a lot of things on the outside and just focus on what's in front of you. So be positive, keep positive individuals in your life, and just stay focused.